Hello everybody, my name is Alan Loy. The rotation of a form will position itself into the completion because in day 10 there is the MAC address of IP12948, which is the element of the design for the protocol. Any protocol based upon Sir-Funk, it is the equilibrium to share the network of 1. If the oil wave is 3 on time, 4 on time and 5 on time by the border, the third way in is rock solid. The controller is 3PF315. In this planet, it is the Artewa. The Artewa of the technology will position itself into the completion because on Sunday afternoon there is no way in to control itself into the manuscript. Each manuscript is the alignment of time for the sun. The sun will burst to tears to heaven based upon the machine. If the machine is Bell 1 F315 by the border, the third way in is rock solid. The controller is a manuscript for 5P F315. In that way, it is the co-function. The co-function of the piranha will release in itself into the border. Any border in the co-function of the piranha, it will wave itself into the alignment of time. The sun will burst to tears to heaven based upon the machine. If the machine is Bell 1 F315 by the border, the third way in is rock solid. The controller is 3P F315 by the ruler, and in that day it is 10% GMAC. The isolation of law by the last message of compound, it will position itself into the acceptance. Once upon a time there is no need to do so in relation to Sir-Funk, but in that way the order of the dimension of the element will position itself into star bursts. The star will sing along in relation to the transcode. The transcode of the program will instate the mind power to be upgraded into 21F315 by the border, and in that day it is 10% GNA. In relation to the isolation of law by the last message of compound, it will position itself into the acceptance. Once upon a time there is no need to do so in relation to the hellholder. The democracy of law based upon implementation of network, it will refine itself into the wavetron, and in that day it is the element. Each element is a co-function of the piranha to position itself into the acceptance. Once upon a time there is no need to do so in relation to the care. The alignment of time will send the sun through to burst to tears to heaven based upon the machine. The machine is B1F315 by the ruler, and in that day it is 10% GMA. The GMA in the isolation for the vocabulary is to understand the language in linguistic based upon the code system. The code system will formulate itself into 1. But if there is one based upon the past command of law by the border, the third way in is rock solid. The controller is 3CF315 by the imperial network. In that way it is the element. Each element of the sun will burst to tears to heaven based upon the machine. If the machine is Bell 1 F315 by the border, the third way in is rock solid to control itself into the manuscript. Each manuscript is the isolation of law by the last message of compound to position itself into the acceptance, and in that day it is 10% GNA. The isolation of law is the last message of compound to position itself into the acceptance, and in that day it is 10% GNA, and in time it is the code system. The code system will formulate itself into 1. Each one is the Artella. The Artella is the third technology for the position of the army for Sector 3. If the arrow is 921456, it is the carer to code the system into Formula 1. If the onso is into me in relation to the avalanche, it is the transcode system of the formula, and in that day it is 10% GNA. This is the isolation law by the last message.